He often mentioned the concept of cleaning his room. One thing I'll say about him, he was always crystal clear that it was a worthy goal. It was important to him. We weren't sure exactly what he meant, but we knew it was something embedded in his psyche. It was perhaps a metaphor for the order, the space, the clarity he always wanted. In fact, to wax poetic for a moment, he longed for a room so clean and orderly that it would be like a clean and orderly warehouse, but which he could never quite find in the realms of Terrland. He had been a reluctant orphan and a reluctant adoptee into a particularly chaotic and uncaring family, complete with child abuse from the other children. Jim Terr envisioned his room as a well-oiled machine where he would be safe from emotional entanglements and other demanding situations. He was outwardly the picture of cool calm, unless a piece of snow fell from the roof and he jumped 5 feet, later 2 feet, later 1 foot, in nervous apprehension, thereby revealing his true troubled nature. Much like our first president, George Washington, he lived under constant restraint of his passionate dark side, preferring to present to us a picture of blithe good humor. "How can I ever clean my room," he told himself, "when my mother calls every night around 8:57 p.m. to tell me to come over and tuck her into bed, just when I'm about to get started?" And who could argue with that, his friends said supportively. After all, he had only one mother. Meanwhile, almost unnoticed, the piles of papers grew and grew, stacked haphazardly like unruly dominoes, which brings us to the point of our sad tale. The stacks grew ever taller and heavier in their gradual climb to the ceiling, leaning, yet still held upright as if by some mysterious hand. Almost 40 years after he was found lying heroically, face down, in the midst of those menacing stacks, a special act of Congress acknowledged his bravery in almost beating them back amidst enormous odds. They say the crash was heard all the way to Charlie's Spick and Span, although no one connected it to Jim Terr at the time, assuming it was just another fender bender on 7th Street. Only when the slow, sad cloud of dust rose up to engulf the downtown area and block out the sun did anybody realize the enormity of what had occurred. The towering electrical installation known as Jim's chair still marks the spot where he lived his precarious life and finally his squishy death. Oh, precarious life, he left us laughing. For this we are eternally thankful. Sonny Jim and His Paper Stacks, a child's version of his biography, will be published as a coloring book before Christmas.